We didn't come from money at all. We lived a very impoverished life. We had been homeless several times. I was married before, and I got divorced. And once I got divorced, it was just like I let loose, and I was just a party animal. He was abusive, and yeah, I wasn't allowed to have friends or go to work.
3 months is crazy. I literally was only here for 3 months, and God said, hey, y'all, this was already destined for a 25 plus journey with grandkids. And it only took 3 months now to think about it.
For us, it got real ugly. Yeah. There were a lot of nights where we stayed up late, holes in walls, and a lot of words said, hurtful words.
You stopped caring. You started shutting down, and I felt that. That was a scary place. Like, what happened? I was a very passionately angry person.
In the beginning, it was rough, man. We had to have our own office separate from everybody because we would actually sit and argue. No matter what I said, no matter what communication style I tried, it was a fight to be heard.
You know, we're going through, business together for 12, 13 years. Night after night after night after day, 12 years times 365 days. That's a lot of experience of the bad days, the people not paying, the bank account looking funky, the dishes not being done, the kids not getting time, the now grandkids. I mean, we've gone from kids in school to now grandkids in school period of running a business together.
Yeah.
So we've kind of seen both of those. And just having that experience, we're going to go into this new segment where I pulled the top trending 10 to 20 things married business partners secretly struggle with. And I'm going to share what those trending are, and we're going to speak life into it and experience.
Okay.
You ready? All right. Number 1, I love you, but I don't like how we work together. This unspoken frustration of clashing work styles, misaligned communication, and feeling like roommates, coworkers instead of lovers. The advice people are seeking is, can we even do this together? Are we just wired too differently? Have we experienced that? Can we speak into that? I love you, but I don't like how we work together.
Oh, yes. All day, every day. No, I'm just kidding. But it's definitely gotten better. And I'd say Jesus is the centerpiece. You're going to make it, right? That sounds cliche, but it's 100% true. And yeah, in the beginning, it was rough, man. We had to have our own office separate from everybody because we would actually sit and argue. We would sit and argue about things at work because we have two different perspectives, right? I have the office administration, perspective, and you have the field perspective. So it was just like we're constantly, going at it. Over the years, though, because we've stuck with it, we never gave up, right? We just kept on going. I did turn in resignation letters a few times.
She legit, because she's admin. I see a letter sitting on my desk, and it was a full-on legit professional resignation letter. And I'm like, oh, heck no. No, you ain't going nowhere. We need you, man. And so I got to plead and pray. But I mean, yeah, it was like what you were trying to establish was processes.
Yes.
A lot of the time.
Yes. Processes, policies, all of that stuff.
Everything to really protect us and get a good flow where I wanted to skip steps because of everything that was going on, and the temperature was like always my...
Well, and you, from the field outside perspective, I remember the battle always being that it's too hard for us to do in the field. It's too hard for this and that, so your different perspective and the temperature, I think, had a huge, huge impact on that. Yeah.
Yeah, but the hope is like we would what was the local term, scrap? We would scrap. That means like she would stand strong on what you believed. You would stand strong, and I would stand strong on what I believe and what was the best. And it's like we just could not come up with an answer, but it had to take one of us finally letting go, right? And let the other one live or learn. And so whether I did it or you did it, I think after time, what became really valuable for me was came to a place where I actually can trust your input I needed to allow the input to have a chance. And that's where I failed. So if you're the one, maybe the CEO, and you playing, because that's kind of our role. We're playing like, hey, Richie, you're the president, I'm the vice president. And not that I get the final call, but sometimes I felt like because I know a little bit more, I got the final call, but I didn't position myself to listen from that vantage point that you have and allow it a chance to even work. Because once I allowed and it actually worked, it's like, gosh, I should have been listening the whole time.
But also in the same respect, there's a lot of things because I think it's important to have the two different perspectives, because then we came up and we modified, we could meet halfway and modified the processes. So it was a little bit easier for the guys in the field to do or fill out or things like that. So I think that's why, it is as workable as it is now. Yeah.
And I think it takes time to gain on both sides the respect of you are good at what you do, to know that you can trust that person with it, right? And so there was a point where I felt not like you're just letting me live and learn. You're like, you truly embraced and vocalized like what I'm good at. And I felt like, okay, then that's my space, right? And then I was able to really learn and vocalize what you're good at and allow you to operate in that space. And that took a lot of time to get there, right? It's not, I don't know if there's advice to say get there quicker, or it's just kind of being able to admit what you're good at and what you're not and what the other strengths are.
Yeah.
Right?
And we learn from our mistakes and we learn from all the things that happened in the past, because now I'll actually sit there and listen to you and what you have to say before I feel like I need to say my piece.
Well, we both respectfully learned what our strengths and weaknesses were. And when I say respectfully, meaning I know your strength now, and that's not my strength. And now I can feed into that and let it bloom and grow, right? And likewise. Yeah. And now we're both just these little plants growing because we've recognized the space instead of just cutting each other down all the time when we can't grow. So that's good. Okay, number 2. One of us wants to scale, but the other one just wants peace.
Look. Let me just tell you, this one just absolutely 100%, 1,000% resonates with me, because you being the go-getter, Mr. I got to move all the time. You remember, right? You had this dream to be like this big company. You wanted to have over 100 employees. And I was like, look, honey, I just want peace.
So it definitely resonates. Like there's a lot of, but what's crazy is this is number 2 on the list. So there's a lot of
people experiencing the same.
Married partners feeling that way. Yeah. And this is what it says. It says one spouse is wired for expansion. The other is burnt out and quietly resisting. The advice they seek is, how do we pursue purpose without running over each other?
I think you can answer that one.
If I were to speak into that, where we have arrived today is like, especially coming from somebody who is ADD, who feels like he's led for this big vision. I mean, I throw in the ADD because big vision sometimes doesn't mean conquer the world. It means you have to learn how to get in the stream, right? And so being in the ocean can be overwhelming. You can get burnt out. And that's what a lot of, I think, couples feel is if you have a leader who's just out there trying to conquer and scale and expand without clear vision of where they're going, they're in an ocean, not a stream. A stream, you can have the same passion and movement, but there's water under there actually moving you to the destination. And the destination is the vision and purpose of where you're going. And so that purpose, and how do you gain that, is you don't need to conquer a mountain. Like you have to always know what your why is. And our why in the beginning, I feel like got lost because business why took over of the reason why we're in business. Does that make sense? So it's like a lot of business owners out there, there's a reason you started the business, and it wasn't just to have a establishment and make money. It was you felt really good about the shirt or the message, and now you're a shirt company. You felt really good about the food or the pizza, and now you're cooking pizza for people to experience that food. But then expanding and scaling, I think that the why gets overridden by the purpose. And so my advice would be that you don't need to conquer the mountain, you need to conquer the why. And so that's how, just anytime you feel off track, my advice would be just re-ask, why are we doing this? And revisit what was your original why and see if you're off track or not. That would be my advice.
Yeah, that's good. Did you just wink at me?
I always wink at you.
Cute.
That was number 2. All right, we're going to go on to number 3. There's couples out there saying, we're building the business but losing the marriage. When the mission is winning but the marriage is not, how do we protect intimacy while still pushing toward legacy?
Again, it always comes back to having Jesus as the centerpiece. I think for both of us, we both, we know and we love the Lord more than we love each other. And I believe that when you have that, you're open to him. Like we pray, we seek the Lord in everything that we do, right? And we always come back together and we join each other in that prayer. And I think the unity, having a husband and wife work together, yeah, I hear a lot of people saying they struggle, you're always butting heads. But if you have Jesus as your centerpiece and you love Jesus far more than you love your spouse, you're going to want to seek him, his words together. And there's so much power. There's so much power in a husband and wife working together and running a business together who love and seek the Lord together. I think that is one of the most powerful things. Yeah.
I can already see and hear people saying, yeah, that sounds great, but like, how do you do that? Can you share practically like how we actually do that behind the scenes when nobody's looking, when we're going through something? How do we sit at a table with Jesus as a centerpiece to make that work?
Oh, sometimes it's rough because we could be really upset with each other. I can't speak for you. I can speak for myself. It's constant reflection. Constant reflection. I take a lot of quiet time, spending it with the Lord, talking to the Lord, always examining myself. The most recent one, together, we did an extreme, I don't want to say extreme, but definitely no food. It was an all liquid fast, 3 days, constantly together, together doing devotions, praying together, doing communion together. And there was a huge breakthrough. There was a huge breakthrough. And as a wife, supporting your husband is huge. Okay, so I want to say this to all of the women out there, because the huge thing now is, we can do everything that a man can do, but that's not what we are created for. We are created to be everything that a man is not. And together, that's how you become, unstoppable with Jesus. So I don't want to be everything that you are and have all the responsibilities that you have. I have my part to play, and I think that when women actually can grab onto that fact and accept that we are here, not that we're, servants to you guys or anything like that, but you guys are more of this masculine, energy, and we're the feminine. I can't play your part. I can't, as much as I want to, or if in the past I wanted to be a leader to our family or the business or whatever, I'm not built for that. And I have to accept that, I do have great ideas, right?
Yeah. And you're a great leader,
But I don't want to, because I'm not built for it. It stresses me out. I get stressed out, I just don't want to, I shut down. So you are built for that. So, yeah.
That's good. I think It's good. It's good, guys. I didn't mean it like that. All right. I meant like it's good to know, that you said it perfectly, is knowing the strengths of your partner and what your strengths are. And when you recognize each other's strengths and how they actually come together to make you even stronger is really the answer. And it takes time to get there, but it is slowly trusting, paying attention. You do have to put trust out first. You can't just, you got to let your partner go through some stuff and see if, they can, where their strengths and weaknesses are in certain things. So, all right, here's number 4. I feel invisible, like I'm just a help. Often felt by the wife in the business, but not always. But couples are wondering, is my contribution seen or is it just expected?
Yeah. What do I call myself? The glorified secretary.
There you go. Boom.
Yeah, I guess, hearing that this, is a common thing that wives struggle with, I don't have any like life-changing answers except, I don't want to say give up, because I don't give up. What I've tried to do is learn and study my approaches with you, my presentations, expressing myself in a way that is acceptable. Because as women, we can sometimes be a little harsh with our words, So, yeah, I think.
And then from my position, I think is it just expected quote is somewhat true and unfortunate. Like, because you're my partner, because you're my wife, we're kind of in this together. There's an expectation that grows in, that did in me, where like I expected you to show up. I expected you to be a part of this, which was wrong way of thinking, because what happens when you throw that expectation out, you're going to be let down, and not that you didn't live up to it, but it's a unlivable expectation because each person's different, each moment's different. And I miss it. Almost blinds and smokes screens the appreciation of what you're actually doing when you have an expectation. So for me, I had to totally dismantle the expectation of anything from you. And what happens is I was able to actually see and appreciate everything that you do, and because if you were to remove you from the ship, we would sink. And so the appreciation then grew, and gets glorified more than the expectation. So what is that smirk? This is a smirk she gives me, and I want to know what it is. What is this?
No smirk.
There's a smirk. There's a smirk. It's on camera.
No, it's just a smile. It's just.
Oh, what kind of smile? What's the definition of this smile?
It's just, I don't think I've ever heard you say those things. So, yeah.
So it's good or it's bad? That's what us men do. We want to know, like, what is she thinking? Yeah, us men, we just like.
I didn't think men thought too much about it.
No, we do. We want to know.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's just, like I said, I've never really heard you say it, and I'd like to see how that's going to play out.
Dang, it did play out. I shared how it plays out.
I know, but yeah, okay.
See, this is love. But I definitely appreciate you.
Thank you.
Yeah, if I don't, and this is, to share with anybody that we don't have it all figured out.
No.
But, we want to practice being better and the best. And what I would advise is don't miss opportunities to tell any of your employees or partner or wife how much you appreciate them. How do we fight without burning the whole house down? Learning to disagree as partners in purpose and in marriage without losing respect and unity. Couples crave real tools, not cliches. How do we fight without burning the whole house down?
So This is important. Learning your communication style and processing. That's huge, right? Like so you're the type of person who wants your answer right away, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a processor. I need time. I need time to cool off. I need time to be in prayer. And sometimes it's like 3 days, right? Am I wrong? Am I wrong? And so over the years, learning our styles.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're just like, I need my answer now. So it's a clash for me and you. But I think that's huge. That's huge. You learn to give me space. I'll just be like, hey, honey, I need some time.
Took time to figure that out, because when you would go through 3 days of processing, to me that felt like stonewalling. It felt like you're mad and I don't know what, like totally why. I feel like you're just putting me on silent for, and so there's a suffering.
Well, we had to talk through that. I had to explain what was actually going on in my head, that I wasn't stonewalling you, because I'm I'm emotional, but I don't like to, like I said, I don't like to say things that I don't, especially if it's out of emotion. I don't want to speak out of emotion. So I know that if I do speak out of emotion, it's just going to make things worse. So I just stay quiet, hold my tongue, and process.
And if it took time to learn how to set us both up for success.
Right. Because we got to meet halfway. You can't constantly be meeting me, and I can't, constantly be meeting you.
And I just want to solve it, right? I'm in business. I hear a fire. I solve it so it doesn't grow into something else. So I think it's the same in marriage, right? There's an issue. Let's fix it. Like, what's going on? But you need a process. So you really know. Because what you're doing in your process, and correct me if I'm wrong, is you're trying to dig. I don't know if dig's the right word, but really understand your emotion, not just the surface of what's going on, right? So we can really deal with it. And so that takes time. Because a lot of times couples, marriages, partners in business, we surface fix, and that doesn't do anything. Like, if something gets in deep, it can grow and become a cancer, and that takes time to figure out what that is, and you responsibly do that, right? And look deep. But to me, here I am, like, I'm actually starting to create my own issues because I'm going through 3 days of wondering what's wrong, and so now I got stuff starting to root, right? And what I had to learn is, it's like the tool, I would say, is we came to a place where we understand we're not getting a divorce, that it's not the end of the world, that she does need processing time. So she now feeds me enough to say, we'll get to this later. I love you, but you just need to process. So now I kind of let it go for now, and I'll record notes.
He does. You do.
Because I'll forget. And I don't want to not honor, your feelings later. Because I forgot already. Because I do. I forget so quick.
Thoughtful.
So I record them, or I'll write them down, and I'll just save them. And later we're able to have a human to human conversation.
Human to human.
No scrapping, yelling, or screaming, and it's an easy fix.
Yeah.
Right? It's just you share your emotion, because at the end of the day, we want the best for each other. We want to love each other. We want to grow together. So we're not enemies. We're best friends. And so when there's a disagreement and it's turning into the burning the house down type of fight that these couples are talking about, it's like, you got to remember, yes, it's your best friend, but there's something seriously hurting your best friend. There's something seriously hurting each other, and you're not going to solve it right at that moment as much as you want to. It's two boiling waters, right? And you're just not going to solve it until the water cools down. So both of those pots gotta go and let the water.
Yeah, you both have to be in the right space.
Yeah.
So, because some of our most impactful conversations were when we both had a good amount of time to cool off, and we're not ruled by our emotions, and that's the logical part.
And the power of giving each other space is, as a man, I've never got to experience like really trying to process my feelings and learning like it takes time to really articulate what I'm truly feeling. And I feel like I've experienced with a lot of men, we don't know how to articulate our emotions. We know how to scream them. We know how to like quickly, we just want to fix them. We kind of just address them right away. But like when you really just take time to process, pray, let it simmer, all the anger, no emotion. You get to that space where you can really evaluate like, okay, what is this like that I'm feeling? It really helps healing, right? Because you realize, oh, I'm just this, or I'm just feeling like my character got attacked. It's really at the end of the day, it's like, that's not me, but what you're saying attacked my character. And I don't, like, that's not me. And I felt like I have to defend myself. But now that I'm cooled down and we're talking, I get to just tell you, like, this is what was really meant. And then you're able to hear it from that tone, and you, in a genuine tone, not an angry tone, because an angry tone doesn't come off like, or whatever it is. And then you're able to, receive it and understand. And then I hear your emotion and what you were dealing with. And it's like, man, I wasn't giving you attention. I wasn't listening to you. I wasn't, like really understanding the root of it. And it helps us just get through that moment. All right, couples in business, partnering together, entrepreneurs. We have no boundaries. It's always business all the time. The home, the car, date night becomes extensions of the office.
I think we have been in that area, that arena of everything. I mean, it's so much so that our kids and grandkids are like, why are you guys always talking about work?
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Right? And we've implemented things like date nights and, hey, put your phone down, and, things like just little things along the way that can help you help each other focus on each other and not bring up work. I mean, somehow, to be honest, work always finds its way into some conversation, right? It's our life. It is our life. But setting healthy boundaries like that, like I said, having date nights with your spouse and just really respecting that time together, not talking about, hey, what happened at the office today, but like really being interested in your partner and their day, because you do a really good job of that sometimes.
I feel like, work, there's like an advantage of having your business partner live with you, right? Because you feel like you can continue to solve things and grow. But to me, I think it was about 2 years ago, maybe 3, you did this thing with all the kids and myself where we made those little necklaces and we picked a word. What was that?
Oh, yeah.
3 years ago?
Yeah.
For New Year?
4 years,
4 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's been 4 years. Oh, awesome. So my word was balance. So we all had to pick a word. So with balance and my meditating on the word and what that really meant was like, I wanted to break my life out into, try to honor 3 different, like break out 24 hours in 3 different sections, which is 8 hours of work, 8 hours life, and 8 hours sleep. Can't master it, but I did recognize and categorize, you do need sleep. You do need to work, but you do have to have like a balance of life, right? In time with God and all this kind of stuff. So trying to balance those things. And at the same time, you come home. There was this, I forget what it was. It was some kind of, I don't know if it was, I read something or I scrolled on something, but it was like I was taking advantage of you when we're at home by talking about work that was to benefit the company. Can we both agree we pay each other in the company, right? Like we have our salary. And so to honor that salary, there's a time for that. But when you come home, it's like you're dishonoring that because you're continuing putting that person to work, right? And so something came on me. I was like, oh, I can't do that. I felt wrong. Like it was wrong to do that. And so I try to balance. That was my practical way of like stepping back and saying, that's taking advantage of the person, right? And I don't feel like you've ever done it to me.
No.
Like you've always
I can say that wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I don't think you've ever said like, hey, can we do this or this? And but me, I'd come home and I would say, hey, did you do payroll? You know, where are we at on this? And so there had to be a point where I had to like step back and realize and honor and respect your actual off time, right? And so it took that balance necklace to really, number one, try to understand how to separate those, and then walking into trying to break those out. But in all honesty, like when a company gets really in a hard place, you've respectfully just been able to step in and work with me off hours, which I wouldn't expect, but you have knowingly stepped in to try to help in certain times, which has been awesome.
Yeah. Or take on all of the responsibilities at home.
Speak into that. What does that mean?
That means, I mean, there's a lot. It's just the house, the kids, the cleaning, the bills, the planning, groceries. I mean, everything. Just everything. It's a lot of weight. And through our marriage, it's been a constant struggle. Because I get that you have to work, and I get that this is our income. This is our bread and butter, right? And I know that sacrifices have to be made. But sometimes it's a lot to carry. It is a lot to carry to be able to come into work and have the responsibilities here at work and still go home and take care of the house. You know, life at home. It's a lot. Yeah. So we communicated. I expressed my feelings and my frustrations. It took some, almost breaking down. But thank you for, being open and listening and trying to find that balance to support me, and so I can in turn support you better. Yeah.
Man, anybody out there who's married in a business ownership and you've watched this far and you're connecting, please leave a comment, leave a question, or DM us a question that maybe we can address later in the next podcast that maybe you're going through, and one like, hey, we're 13 years in, we can share our ups and downs and speak into it and speak life. Go ahead and leave a comment, and we'd love to answer them, or maybe answer them in the future on future videos.